seeing from the New York Football Giants right now. Midway through, a little bit more in the second quarter, and the Giants lead the Denver Broncos 13 after a missed extra point to nothing on the strong play on both sides of the ball, really, here. Capped off by Cam Scadaboo, who does a really nice job on that little flip there in the flat. Not only sets up the first block, but then also allows the offensive lineman to get up ahead of him, find him that gap, and then bounces back around to the outside. Doesn't even get real contact until he's already in the end zone, and you know he's still going to go ahead and lower the head and try to throw it down. It's a 10-play, 82-yard, nearly 6-minute drive for the New York Football Giants. It comes on the heels of an early second quarter punt from the Denver Broncos. It's a really, really strong look for this offensive unit right now. You saw Wan'Dale Robinson getting open underneath, working his way from left to right across the field. We also got a good look at Daniel Bellinger, who, even though off the fingertips, maybe even the hands in the end zone there, is clearly reestablishing himself as one of the better offensive weapons, especially in the absence of Malik Neighbors. Listen, we like what Theo Johnson maybe can be. He's a big body, looks like he can be a physical tight end for the Giants, but not only just overall in terms of the way the NFL is modeled in a lot of situations, also because you do not have a lot of weapons beyond Wan'Dale Robinson in that wide receiver room right now. You need guys that can be shifty and get themselves open and work into space. And that's what Daniel Bellinger can do. He has speed. So when you go ahead and run him out in those route combinations, you can put him in different spots where he can certainly be effective, as we've seen throughout this game. Seen Scadaboo be effective also in the pass game, run game, putting his head down. A little bit of trickery there, too. Giants went for it on the 4th and short. They picked that up after the virtual measurement. And then you had the fake pass out to the flat. I think they had Wan'Dale Robinson dummying on that before the offhand for Jaxson Dart allowed Scadaboo to take it from behind his back straight up the gut. And that converted the 2nd and 13 down into a 3rd and reasonable, where we could start to see some impact plays and really opens up the playbook for you in a much bigger way. It's a really fun game for the New York Football Giants. And, we said this coming out of the game last Thursday, a week and a half ago now, for the New York Giants. Watching them beat the Philadelphia Eagles is amazing. No two ways about it. Awesome. The other thing, though, that's amazing about it is that you get to see a Giants team that week in and week out now feels like they can step on the field and compete with any team potentially in the league. We understand that the Eagles aren't playing great football right now. They picked up a win earlier today in the afternoon. We understand, as we talked about in our preview of this game, that if you look back at the Denver Broncos schedule, you could maybe turn around and say, hey, I don't necessarily see elite competition going up against them. We know that even though I believe Bo Nix was coming into this game top 13 in passing yards, okay, he's thrown for yardage, but is the deep ball there, right? Listen, Sean Payton does an excellent job setting up that team for success when we talk about the offensive play calling and scheming and using veterans like Sutton, right? Awesome. But to be able to come into a game like this, and if you watch the first quarter recap, to be able to come into a game, get through that scripted plays that we've seen be successful for so many offensive teams around the league, but for the Giants as well. Great. You find a way to get Wan'Dale Robinson involved early, which I think is critical without Malik Neighbors. We saw Jaxson Dart stay calm under pressure, navigate the pocket, has not taken off to run. And, it was funny. One of the things that we were so focused on coming into this, as we know, Denver Broncos defensively do an excellent job shutting down the legs for opposing QBs. Okay. So one, you need to establish that run early and have Cam Scadaboo have success, which they did. But then you also have to be, if you're Jaxson Dart, willing to navigate the pocket, to buy extra time, keep your eyes downfield. That's how he found Daniel Bellinger on that first touchdown. It's how he found Wan'Dale Robinson, who worked to create more space and give Dart an option there. And then one of the things I'll just note here as we're working our way through the second quarter, it certainly has been nice to see. They mentioned it on the broadcast as well. When you have Jameis Winston, when you have Russell Wilson, you certainly have a wealth of knowledge. It has to be probably the most experienced backup quarterback room in the NFL. Has to be a good resource for Jaxson Dart. But in the end, it's now time for the New York Football Giants to continue defensively to put pressure on Bo Nix. You are playing from ahead. You have a 13-0 lead. You have an opportunity. You started with the football. You'll be kicking off in the second half. Go out there, shut down one more drive for the Denver Broncos. Listen, I'll get greedy and say I want another at least 3 on the board for the Giants, but I'll take 13-0 right now going to the break. Need to find a way to close down the Denver Broncos offense. They've mixed in some Some RJ Harvey there in the backfield as well. We've seen J.K. Dobbins, formerly of the Ravens. The Giants are doing a good job playing down near the line of scrimmage, especially Drew Phillips. He closed down a running play out in the flat. A screen play attempted to get set up in the flat there in the first quarter. We've seen some pretty good work overall in the secondary. Again, Bo Nix is not terribly accurate, so you probably feel like you have a little bit of an opportunity to play more off coverage in that secondary and get after it. Again, Abdul Carter, Brian Burns, they came in the last 3 weeks. They are top 3 in pass rusher win rate. So you have to continue to apply that pressure as the Broncos are trying to cross midfield here. They do hook up on the pass. They'll bring up a second and probably 2 or 3. And we'll stick around through this drive to see how things go. Coming up on 7.5 to go in the second quarter. Again, these are kind of make or break moments here for the Giants in games like these, because not just the Giants, this is universal to the NFL. You always are going to have third quarter, fourth quarter surges where no matter what, your defense plays a little bit more safe, you lax off a little bit. The nice part for the Giants, as this run goes for about a yard, Abdul Carter bites down, but he is holding his wrist, which you don't love to see. Take a little bit of air out of this balloon, but as we'll see if Abdul Carter is going to be okay, one of the advantages here for the Giants, and Abdul Carter's back up. There he goes. He shook it off. I think he may have gotten a little stinger in his arm with the way he went in for that tackle, not coming off the field, and he seems to be a little bit chippy with the Denver Broncos here as well, as he will come off for a play ultimately. I don't think he's going to go into the tent at all. He is absolutely pissed, still flexing out his arm, still holding at that hand a little bit, so we'll see if anything comes as the game moves along. But the Giants' benefit in third and fourth quarters of games, especially when they have leads, is that because they're built on that defensive front, it's pin your ears back and get after the quarterback. Pin your ears back, get after the quarterback, rep after rep, down after down. So that plays into their defensive strength as, Giants catch a little bit of a break. It's a nice ball out there in the flat to the fullback. He can't get the grab, and it's going to make it a 4th and 3 here. Denver Broncos just across midfield. We'll take a peek and see whether or not they're going to potentially push for it here, down 13-0. You would assume it's a punt coming for the Broncos, turning it back over to the Giants offense. But no, they're going to stay out there. So modern NFL, as we know, third down conversions 24th for the Broncos, fourth down conversion 27th in terms of go percentage, and plays per drive 26. So Broncos have not been an elite team offensively, something that Andy mentioned on our preview podcast. You have to really go inside the numbers a little bit more and get beyond the record to realize that this is a team that's playing good, but is also not an elite offensive unit. 4th down and 3. It's going to be a draw play for Bo Nix. He's going to pick it up. He's going to go down quickly. Smart play from the Denver Broncos. You'll live with that. And the Giants aren't really able to close off the edge there. They bring some pressure. Kayvon Thibodeau really sucking wind on this play. One thing that I could have thought about is everybody that's in on the chat lose wires here. Maybe get myself a bit more of a stationary setup here, but we'll cross that bridge at halftime. Giants are going to come back out here first and 10 for the Denver Broncos. Around the league, by the way, Dallas is leading Washington, puts the Giants in a nice spot. Over the top for Bo Nix. And broken up. Now, again, that is Cordell Flott, who was feeling himself a bit earlier in the game. Down the sideline, ball's out of bounds, but he was proud of his coverage. Got to feel pretty darn good about this coverage here, too. He's been playing off on the receivers on most routes here. He just puts himself in the hip pocket. That's a good ball from Bo Nix. Maybe a little bit behind. It's over the top, but behind the receiver. You got to like Cordell Flott, though. Gets himself up in the air, gets his hand on hand, and really makes it impossible to bring that ball in. 2nd and 10 now, 5:52 to go here in the second quarter for the New York Giants, leading 13-0. They go with a little inside draw. Nothing doing on that play. 1, maybe 2 yards. That's going to be J.K. Dobbins, and brings up another now 3rd and long. And this is where the Giants need to get off the field. Opportunity to shut this down. Yes, the Broncos went for it on 4th and 3 on your side of the 50, but they're not going to do it again if you're looking at a 4th and 8, a 4th and 7, 4th and 6, right? So if it's going to be a play out into the flat, which they missed on a few plays earlier, need to be out in that space. You think about Drew Phillips, if he gets put onto that coverage, closing down the gap. We've also seen the linebackers. A lot has been asked of them. Start of the season, we've seen Brian Burns do a good job getting out into that space when required as well. Bo Nix rolling out to the right, tries to flip one downfield, wide open, working across the field. And that looks like, I want to get a look at who that was in coverage for the Giants, but it's going to be Sutton who makes the big grab and then gets a little bit after the catch here too. Dane Belton getting shown on the replay. Let's take a look. And quite frankly, you know what time it is, ladies and gentlemen. It's glasses time. Let's get a peek at Bo Nix. So it's an immediate rollout, so you want to get him space, buy him more time. Throws across his body nicely. Yeah, I mean, just space. And that's a Debo who's going to get beat across the field there. He's your number one corner. He needs to be able to shut down those plays. 2 for 41 yards on the day for Sutton. First running play starts to get wrapped up. It's going to be Daniel Bellinger making the initial contact there. They rally and do get him down. Second and goal here, 4:15 to go in the second quarter. New York Football Giants, by the way, go ahead and back it up here a second and take a look at where we stand from a stat standpoint. Been a good day. Sorry about that visually. Been a good day overall. Jaxson Dart 163 yards, 8 of 16, 2 touchdowns. Just 80 yards for Bo Nix right now, but they're working. 18 yards for J.K. Dobbins. Really all that matters here if you're the Denver Broncos is trying to get one in the end zone. If you're the Giants, narrowly and then tipped away. They tried to work a little bit of trickery. Offensive lineman eligible goes out in the pass play, and something that Bo Nix has struggled with in his career, tip balls, although this one's about pressure right now. Oh, great job to be able to get that hand to it because otherwise it's there. And it's just the deflected pass there at the line of scrimmage that prevents that from being a touchdown. Oh, what a job by 52 for the Giants defense. Brings up a 3rd and goal. Now, again, this could be 2-down territory for the Denver Broncos, depending on how they're feeling about their offense in this game overall. In pursuit, Brian Burns isn't going to get there. They throw the pylon, nothing doing. Good coverage for the Giants. Another example there where they try to take Bo Nix, roll him out of the pocket, get him into space. The difference being, as you get down into the red zone, you get down inside the 5-yard line, when you roll out like that, you're really shrinking the field because now you're taking everything. And you had backside pursuit from Abdul Carter for the Giants. So you're bringing all of that space. You're just truncating the field down. And now all of a sudden, if you're the Giants, you're covering about 7 yards of width and about 15 yards of depth to the back of the end zone. Makes it a lot more congested and certainly a lot harder for the offense here. Big 4th down. Assume they would go for it. They are in shotgun. They got Dobbins alongside Bo Nix to the left in the backfield. Quick flip to the outside. It's going to be about shutting it down, and oh, baby boy. That is Dane Belton. That is Bobby Okereke. They absolutely plant, what I believe is Courtland Sutton on that play, shutting down the 4th down, turning the ball over. It's a quick flip, and it really is the effort of Belton to just kind of get enough around there. Excuse me, that may even be Cordell Flott on the outside, who pinches down underneath the outside block. He doesn't get real contact to Sutton, but it immediately forces. You got to go up and in. It allows Dane Belton, it allows Okereke to rally that ball and shut it down. And if you go back to that previous drive for the New York Giants, they go for it on 4th down. As they approach the red zone, they convert, they continue their drive, they score a touchdown. Here, Denver goes for it, Giants shut it down, Giants turn the ball over, and now, again, be smart here. Brian Daboll, the offense, needs to get into their playbook and find a way to scheme together a couple of 1st downs here, get yourself space out away from the end zone, and then go ahead and see what's available to you. But the Giants stand to go into the halftime here, up 2 scores, feeling really good on both sides of the football. For the most part, they stymied the Denver Broncos offense. And on a drive when Denver was having success, when Denver was able to move it, you still managed to find a way to turn that ball over in the big spot. This has been a very good game on both sides of the ball for the New York Giants. Recapping here briefly, as the Giants are going to take over, and without jinxing it, we assume they'll be in a position here to go ahead and run this thing all the way to halftime. 3:35 to go as we head towards half. Stats overall, 81 passing yards for Bo Nix, just 18 rushing yards. We know how critical that is for the Giants and this defensive unit. So they shut them down well. The one big catch for Sutton, but other than that, nothing to really show for. Guess what? Cooper, he has a lot of sacks for Denver. He has a sack. Brian Burns has a lot of sacks for us. He has a sack. And then the tackles coming here. Greenlaw, who's just had his second game back, I believe, in 2 years with all of his injuries. He has 6 for Denver, 4 for Dane Belton overall. But let's get a little bit deeper inside the numbers. $182 for the Giants to 107 overall. 9 first downs to 6. How about this for a key stat? Giants haven't always played the cleanest football this season, right? They went ahead and cleaned that act up here. Just 1 penalty so far to this point. 3 for 15 for the Denver Broncos. And then obviously the conversion on 4th down. Denver's gone for it twice, converted once. Although time of possession, right? So there it was. Time of possession was 1432, excuse me, in favor of Denver. We'll see how this one plays itself out. But that drive right there was 13 plays, 64 yards, 5 minutes and 11 seconds, and you come away with nothing. Now, the Giants are in the shadow of their own goal line here. So you've got to find a way to play smart. Obviously, you can't have a false start and lose inches, but you got to find a way just to get yourself out of this shadow here and then go from there. Yep, that's fine. Nice little job. It's going to be Devin Singletary here. Giants choosing to go with the veteran running back in this critical spot. I don't hate that at all. He's going to inch himself out, give you a little bit of breathing room, and right back into the huddle here as the Giants are, again, first and foremost, go ahead and give yourself some space if you're going to have to punt the ball away. Drain a minute and a half to 2 minutes off the clock. But you love if there's an opportunity here for the Giants to get themselves 1 first down and really effectively get yourself towards halftime. No timeouts yet from the Broncos. Obviously, we'll see how this next play goes. Yep, they run again. They're going to go ahead and inch themselves out towards the 5-yard line. Singletary with the carry. 250 coming up here. 3rd and 8, so just a couple of yards on that one. Maybe 3rd and 7, a little bit closer to it. And it doesn't look like the Giants are going to risk too much, although Jalen Hyatt is checking into the game on the offensive side for the Giants. You've gotten a couple of yards, so I wonder if this is a spot here. If you're Brian Dable, you say, we feel comfortable about the punt. Do we take a shot? Do we allow Jaxson Dart to just get one downfield? We've seen this at any time. NFL quarterbacks, listen, this can be a pseudo punt if we feel like we're going to be going in that direction no matter what. Take a look how much risk they'll run here on 3rd and 8. It's going to be a false start called here on Illuminor, it looks like. And what a job, too. Absolutely brutal. So, delay a game, actually. So Illuminor's going on where the clock is. A delay a game here. It's going to be on Jaxson Dart. Unfortunately, you got to get that ball out because they run this play, whether or not the defense gives up knowing the whistle has been called. Little Jordan Humphreys goes down the sideline, makes an absolute, as he's shown before, ability to go up and attack the football, win over defenders. He did it. So the Giants were going for it. They were going to take that. They were going to say, let's go ahead and try to push here for the first down. Half the distance to the goal, so it'll put them back at the 2, and it'll effectively be a 3rd and 10 for the Giants. Only other downside here is that, they'll be able to take this thing all the way down to the 2-minute warning, and then, so now you get into that territory. Denver had to take a timeout already with some confusion there earlier, I think, in the second quarter. So you let this go to the 2-minute warning. Now you do have a little conversation about playing smart, which is force Denver to take another timeout here. If you run the football, leave them with 1 timeout. Yes, they'll have a minute and 40. It's enough time here where I'm less concerned about having them burn one and more concerned about, can you give yourself a decent opportunity to go ahead and get yourself a first down here, and then effectively hey, they'll have to burn their timeouts. At worst, we're going to halftime likely, and maybe we even get a chance for a field goal attempt. I want to go back here again into the full box score. One other guys that I want to give a couple other notes. We talk about how the Giants have looked offensively. It's been a grind, right? So Scadaboo in the running attack, just 4 for 14, 3.5 yards. Tyrone Tracy Jr., 3 for just 7. You saw Singletary take a couple of carries, obviously in the shadow of the goal line. But Jaxson Dart, just 2 rushes in this game. So the Giants are not going to force him to run. And you don't have to with the way that he's played, a 125.8 rating right now in this game. Flip side of it, though, I mentioned J.K. Dobbins with a 7 for just 18 yards. Marvin Mims had the jet sweep. He took that for 13. Bo Nix scrambled for 3. R.J. Harvey, 4 carries, no yards. So the Giants have done a really good job. Just 34 rushing yards surrendered here, only 24 for themselves offensively. Other note we have to make is obviously in the wide receiving room, and we extend that out to the tight end group as well. Mentioned Daniel Bellinger, touchdown on the day. Yeah, 3 catches, 88 yards. So you know they're going to try to focus in on him at halftime and saying, how do we shut him down? And if you're the Giants, what's the counterpunch? We mentioned Theo Johnson just hasn't been able to really get it going here. Has had 3 targets in this game and no catches, but maybe that opens something up for him. Wan'Dale Robinson, 2 for 41, had that long of 23. Cam Scatterbo, the 3 catches for 34 yards, has been critical just in being a chain mover. Outside of that, really, Courtland Sutton had the big one, which is a 32-yarder. His other 2 catches just went for 10 total. Then you had Atkins, who went for 2 for 20, had a 15-yard reception. I mentioned Mims. He also has 2 receptions for 13, although the one went for nothing. So you really do have longs of 32, 15, and 13. That's familiar to the Giants secondary. Give up those chunk kind of plays, and you have to live with that. And you will live with that when you're up 13-0 in a game, when the defense is getting after the opposing quarterback. You're fine with that. Getting inside the defensive numbers here, as we'll hold off and get a look at what the Giants do here offensively on not a critical, but a 3rd down and 10 from their own 2-minute warning. I don't hate it. It's fine, right? Like, and I love it. I don't hate it. It's fine. And then I love it because Jaxson Dart fades back into the end zone. He lobs one up down the sideline. It's looking for Wan'Dale Robinson, and they're going to go ahead and call pass interference on the Denver Broncos defense. And guess what it was? You got Denver Broncos trying to say, oh, it wasn't a catchable ball. Sorry, folks. When you look at this play, Wan'Dale Robinson starts in the slot, goes outside. They grab him up. They hold him down. Yeah. And anyone suggesting that that ball was uncatchable is out of their minds because it lands in the field of play about 2 yards away from Wan'Dale Robinson. So that's exactly what you want to see. These types of play designs, that's a low risk, high reward play, right? Wan'Dale Robinson beats his man down the sideline. It's a catch. It's a fresh set of downs. Who knows? Maybe it's a touchdown because Wan'Dale Robinson can burn. Now, instead, the first designed as it's Jaxson Dart. They run the draw play. He picks up nearly, if not the 1st down here. And we'll go ahead and see how the Giants approach the final 145. All timeouts available to them. But, that's the kind of smart risk that you take when you're on your own, too. Fade back, put it down the sideline before the coverage can rotate over from the safety position. Maybe you draw the penalty. And that's exactly what they did. Now we find ourselves 2nd and 1 here. It's going to be a draw play inside to Cam Scatterbo. Ease. Oh, watch that ankle. Watch that ankle. He's all right. He helps up the opposition, helps himself up. Cam Scatterbo's going to pick up that 1st down here, and the Giants have a fresh set, 1:21 to go. Broncos. Denver Broncos took a timeout there? I'm going to double check that. I'm assuming it's the Giants that took that timeout. I mean, there's no way that if you're Denver, you're thinking after giving up a 1st down, we're going to turn around and try to get this ball back. It was Denver. Okay. Might have been could have been an injury timeout. Didn't catch it there, but 1:22 to go. Now the Giants will still have all 3 of their timeouts. I mean, listen, no game in the NFL is ever done, but if you are the Giants and the way you're playing today, God, you would love to put up a touchdown here as you play from your own 30. Scatterbo wants to catch that ball and turn it back up inside. Puts a palm on it, but can't get there. Second and 10, 1:20 to go here in the 1st half. Shocked by myself that I've gone ahead and run here for going up on probably 25 minutes by the time we get ourselves out the door. But this is what the Giants can do for you nowadays. They get you excited about being in these games. They get you excited about watching this offense play ball. 2nd and 10. Nice job. And finally, after his now 4th target, Theo Johnson's going to haul in his first catch of the game. Help move the chains here. Help make it a 3rd and reasonable as we'll pick up 6. It'll be a 3rd and 4 for the Giants. One of the harder catches for a guy like Theo Johnson, as big as he is, has to get down real low for this one. Does bring it in. Denver again burned a timeout here. 3rd and 4, 114 to go. So they're trying to keep it on the right side. They want to try to have an opportunity, push the ball down the field, get themselves a field goal potentially, and narrow this lead down to 10. But if you're the Giants, you desperately want to convert this here. But you know, if you go through the air, you don't drain the clock. If you run the ball here, you're going to get this thing down pretty darn low if you have to punt it away. So let's see how they play it. Yeah, see, you hate that. That's the only thing I'm going to say here. It's a smart play from the Denver Broncos defense, and it's just where you at if you're the Giants, right? 3rd and 4, pressure comes, Dart gets it away. It's Wan'Dale Robinson coming across the field. No real time to set that up. And we'll take a look here at how Scadaboo handles trying to help pick up this blitz. Nah, doesn't matter because he's going to go ahead and sweep across the front of Dart and make himself available on the left side in the flat. So it will be a punt. No timeouts for Denver, but they're going to have a minute to go here as opposed to what could have been probably about 20 seconds. So we'll see how the Giants close this out here before we head to the break. Again, we'll go back inside some of those defensive numbers as the Giants will go back on that side of the ball here. Looking inside the defenses, we have 3 tackles for a loss in this one, 3 pass deflections. Again, that's a part of Bo Nix's game, and the Giants have been able to break up some plays in that regard. Also, 3 QB hits. So pressure has been getting there. They only have the 1 sack, but they're obviously getting it done. Another nice thing that you always point out in these moments too, 19 solo tackles. I think that's always just important because while gang tackling matters, that's also about, especially in this game when you've seen passes out into the flat, trying to get the ball into guys' hands, give them space to work with. You have to be able to close those down yourself, even if you're waiting for someone else to rally to it. So 19 of their 29 total defensive tackles have been completed by just 1 player, and now we'll move that number to 20 as it's going to be Tyler Nubin closes this one down immediately on the first down play. Just a yard gain there, and now the Broncos will hurry up to the line here, 45 seconds to go. 2nd and 9 from their own 25. Looks like we have a holding call here, so this one should probably be coming back and should do a decent job as that one made it out to the running back in the flat. Would have been a first down, but I'm assuming we're going to get a hold. But we're going to get a legal shift on the Denver Broncos. Hey, shout out around the league. The Colts 20-3 over the Chargers. They're going the wrong direction. 17-8 Dallas over Washington. Arizona up over Green Bay 6-3 as they head towards the half. 2:14 to go in that one. Gosh dang, man. I mean, not only, hey, good for you, Daniel Jones, but the LA Chargers, and they know their offensive line injuries, that has gone an absolutely other direction after their hot start to the season. Some people say it was the game against the Giants that really broke their spirit. Also, to note that we head towards halftime, we're getting certainly a lot dimmer in here as we head towards the break. This one's going to make it a 2nd and 14. Even more important for the Giants really is that's a play that gains you nothing, loses you yards, resets the down at 2nd and 14, and also you run off a ton of time. So just 33 seconds here for Denver. Time of possession will certainly be in the favor of the Denver Broncos, but the scoreboard will be in the favor of the Giants, as will the sack totals. Another one, Brian Burns, 9 times he has taken down the opposing QB. He grabs another one here, and the Giants are going to go ahead and put this one away, go to the break, up 13-0. Doesn't look like Denver's going to bother on their 3rd and 20 play. Hey, let's get ourselves towards the sunshine here. It's a 13-0 lead for the New York Football Giants as they head to half in Denver. Again, you take nothing for granted going to the break. It's the responsibility of this coaching staff to identify areas where they can continue to improve and find out how are you going to take this 13-0 lead and convert it into a New York Football Giants victory. Doesn't matter what else has happened in the division, what else has happened around the NFC. You go ahead and you figure out a way to have another successful drive defensively because Denver has moved the ball a little bit as you've worked your way towards the break. Shut down that opening drive. Put the ball back into the offensive hands. Script out that successful offensive run, and you can find yourselves up 20-3, 16-3. By the way, you can exchange those scores as you get into that third quarter. We'll go back one more time and just reset from a team standpoint. Giants up 13-0. 7 in the first, touchdown pass for Wan'Dale Robinson, Cam Scatterboot in the second, missed extra point for the Giants. But 11 first downs to 6. The Giants have been smart when it comes to their penalties. They've only taken 2 for a total of 7 yards, 5 for 35 for the Denver Broncos in that first half. The Giants have 2 sacks, both coming from Brian Burns, now 9 total on the year. And then specifically inside those key stats, we know passing yards, 166 for the Giants. They held Bo Nix and the Broncos to just 68 passing yards. You combine that with only giving up a total of 34 rushing yards. This has been a very strong opening half for the Giants on both sides of the football. We'll continue to break things down into the third and fourth quarter, and what we hope will be a big time victory for the Giants on the road in Denver, and what could pull them to 3-4 and keep them right in the mix with the NFC East. Obviously, knowing we have that looming road game against Philly coming a week from today, we worry about that. After this one, everything really looking great for the Giants, for Jaxson Dart, the offense, the defense. Keep up the work and keep on following OGP for all your Giants updates. And as Andrew Makowitz would want, need, and nay, demand the people know. As always, let's go Big Blue.